Today, we're revealing the most valuable Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickels ever discovered, including the ultra-rare dates, mint errors, and hidden details that have stunned collectors at major auctions. Before you spend another nickel, watch until the end. You might already be holding a life-changing treasure. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in a checkout line, maybe at a grocery store or a gas station. You reach into your pocket, feel the familiar cold weight of spare change, and pull out a handful of coins to pay. You glance down, pennies, a dime, maybe a quarter, and then you see it. A nickel. Not just any nickel. A 1974 Jefferson nickel. It looks unassuming, ordinary, even like the thousands of other nickels that have passed through your hands over the years. But here is the question that should stop you cold. What if that single 5-cent piece sitting in your palm right now is actually worth $659,000? What if the difference between pocket change and life-changing wealth is nothing more than a missing letter? This is the moment where the spender and the collector diverge forever. The spender sees 5 cents. The collector sees a ghost. The spender drops it into the register without a second thought. The collector stops, examines, and potentially discovers a numismatic anomaly so rare that it has sent shockwaves through the entire coin collecting community. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most elusive and valuable errors in modern American coinage, the 1974 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel. And by the end of this video, you are going to want to check every single nickel you own. Before we dive into the technical details, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the coins in your pocket? I mean, really looked. Not just glanced at the date, but studied them, turned them over, inspected every detail. If you are like most people, the answer is never. And that, right there, is why most people will walk right past a fortune without ever knowing it. But you are not most people. You are watching this video because somewhere deep down, you know that hidden wealth exists in the most unexpected places. You know that the difference between financial mediocrity and financial freedom often comes down to awareness. And today, we are going to make you aware of something that could literally change your life. Now, let us talk about why the 1974 Jefferson nickel is such a fascinating case study in numismatics. The United States Mint produced over 600 million of these coins at the Philadelphia facility in 1974. That is right, 600 million. To put that in perspective, that is more nickels than there are people in the United States. With that kind of volume, you would think these coins are everywhere, completely worthless beyond their face value. And for the most part, you would be right. A standard 1974 Philadelphia nickel, the kind with no mint mark because Philadelphia did not use mint marks on its coins until 1980, is worth exactly 5 cents. Maybe a little more if it is in pristine condition. But we are talking about pocket change, not retirement money. But here is where it gets interesting. While the vast majority of these nickels are indeed common as dirt, a microscopic fraction of them possess errors that transform them from pocket lint into pure gold. Well, nickel, but you get the idea. And one of those errors is the absence of a mint mark that should not be absent. You see, the San Francisco Mint produced proof nickels in 1974, and those proof coins were supposed to carry an S mint mark. But due to human error at the Philadelphia Mint, where the dies were prepared, a small number of proof dies were shipped to San Francisco without the S-punch. When these dies were used to strike proof coins, the resulting nickels lacked the mint mark that should have been there. And just like that, a ghost was born. Now, before you get too excited, let me clarify something important. The 1974 no S-proof nickel is not the coin we are talking about today. That particular error is valuable, no doubt about it, but it is not the six-figure monster we are hunting. The real prize, the coin that has sent collectors into a frenzy and auction houses into a bidding war, is something even rarer. It is a 1974 Jefferson nickel that was struck under circumstances so unusual, so technically bizarre, that it has become the stuff of legend. We are talking about a 1974 Jefferson nickel that was double-struck, or struck over a previously struck coin, or struck on the wrong planchet, or any combination of these errors that creates a one-of-a-kind piece that simply should not exist. These are the coins that have been featured in the book 100 Greatest U.S. Error Coins, valued anywhere from $15,000 to $17,500 as far back as 2010. And that was over a decade ago. The market for these rarities has only intensified since then. Let us get into the technical details because this is where the true magic happens. A mint error occurs when something goes wrong during the striking process. The planchet, which is the blank metal disc that becomes a coin, is supposed to be fed into the press perfectly, struck once by the dies, and then ejected. But sometimes the machinery malfunctions. The struck coin is not ejected, and it receives a second or even third strike. When that happens, especially if the coin rotates between strikes, you get a doubled image that is unmistakable and incredibly valuable. A 1974 Jefferson nickel that was double-struck and rotated in the collar between strikes is not just an error. It is a masterpiece of mechanical chaos. Even more extraordinary is the overstrike error. Imagine a 1974 nickel being struck not on a blank planchet, but on a 1973 nickel that had already been struck. The dies come down, and the image of 1974 is literally hammered on top of the image of 1973. The result is a coin with two different dates, a dual date error that is so rare that only a handful are known to exist in the entire history of American coinage. These are the kinds of coins that make collectors weak in the knees. Now let us address the elephant in the room. You may have heard rumors, whispers in the numismatic community, about a 1974 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel that sold for $659,000. Is that real? Is there actually a nickel out there worth more than most houses? The answer is yes and no. The specific figure of $659,000 has been associated with various ultra-rare error coins in recent years, and while the exact auction record for a 1974 Jefferson nickel error may fluctuate, what is undeniable is that the market for these coins is hotter than ever. Collectors are paying astronomical sums for unique error coins, and the trend shows no signs of slowing down. Consider this: a 1975 no-S proof dime, with only 2 specimens known to exist, sold for nearly $350,000 at auction. A unique 1976 no-S Eisenhower dollar is believed to be worth well over $500,000. The 1971 no-S proof Jefferson nickel, which is far more common with over 1,600 examples released, still commands prices between $900 and $2,100, with record sales exceeding $8,000. If a relatively common error like the 1971 no-S can fetch that kind of money, imagine what a truly unique 1974 error could bring. Let me stop you right there and ask you to do something. Right now, pause this video. Go find your change jar, your wallet, your coat pocket, wherever you keep your loose coins. Pull out every nickel you have and look at the date. Look for 1974. Look at the mint mark or lack thereof. Look for anything unusual. Double images, off-center strikes, strange markings. You might be holding a ticket to financial freedom and not even know it. I will wait. Back? Good. Did you find anything? Probably not, and that is okay. The odds are against you, but that is precisely what makes this so exciting. The thrill of the hunt, the possibility that one day you might be that one in a billion who finds treasure in plain sight. That is the allure of numismatics. That is why people spend their lives searching through rolls of coins from the bank, attending auctions, and studying every detail of every coin that passes through their hands. The market for these error coins is not just alive, it is thriving. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC are seeing a surge in submissions as more and more people become aware of the potential value hiding in their pocket change. The full steps designation, which indicates that the steps on Monticello are fully visible and unbroken, can multiply a coin's value by 33 times, or even 500 times on key dates. A 1974 nickel in MS66 full steps condition is significantly more valuable than a standard MS66, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for that distinction. But let us be real for a moment. Most 1974 nickels are worth exactly what you think they are worth: 5 cents. The ones that command serious money are the exceptions, not the rule. They are the ghosts, the anomalies, the coins that defied the odds and survived against all probability. And that is what makes them so desirable. That is what drives collectors to spend thousands, tens of thousands, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars to own a piece of that rarity. Here is the call to action. Do not just watch this video and forget about it. Take action. Start looking at your change. Start educating yourself on what to look for. Join online forums, visit coin shows, talk to dealers. The more you know, the better your chances of spotting something valuable. And if you do find something, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not even touch it more than necessary. Take it to a professional grading service and let them authenticate it. That is how you maximize its value. We are living in a golden age of coin collecting. Technology has made it easier than ever to identify errors, connect with other collectors, and track market trends. The information is out there, and it is more accessible than ever before. The only thing standing between you and potential wealth is awareness. And now you have that awareness. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with a thought. Every coin has a story. Every coin has traveled through countless hands, survived countless transactions, and endured countless years of wear and tear. Some coins are just coins, but some coins are treasures waiting to be discovered. The 1974 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel, in all its error-ridden glory, represents the pinnacle of that discovery. It represents the moment when ordinary becomes extraordinary, when 5 cents becomes $500,000, when pocket change becomes life-changing wealth. So the next time you reach into your pocket, do not just grab and go. Stop, look, examine. You never know what you might find. You never know when fortune might be staring you right in the face, disguised as a simple nickel. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of ultra-rare error coins, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because in our next video, we are going to explore another ghost in the market, a coin so rare, so elusive, and so valuable that it makes the 1974 nickel look like pocket change. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss it. There are currently 1.5 billion nickels in circulation across the United States, and you have probably handled thousands of them without a second thought. You have dropped them into parking meters, tossed them into tip jars, and let them accumulate in dusty coffee cans on garage shelves, never imagining that one of those tiny pieces of metal could be the key to a life you have only dreamed about. But here is the question that separates the wealthy from the merely comfortable. When was the last time you actually looked at what is in your pocket? While most people see 5 cents, a select few see 6 figures sitting right under their noses, and that difference in perception is the difference between spending your treasure and collecting it. Stop what you are doing right now. Go to your car, check the cup holder, dig through that old jacket in the closet, empty your pocket change onto the nearest table, and look for the year 2000 with a tiny P mint mark just to the right of Thomas Jefferson's portrait. The coin you are searching for was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and over 846 million of them were produced that year, so the odds of finding one are actually quite high. But here is where the story gets interesting. Finding the coin is easy. Recognizing what makes it worth more than a new luxury car is where almost everyone fails. The year 2000 was a moment of massive transition for the United States Mint. Collectors were distracted by the shiny new Sacagawea golden dollar and the endless parade of state quarters. And while everyone was looking elsewhere, the humble Jefferson nickel kept rolling off the presses in Philadelphia by the millions. The design had remained largely unchanged since 1938, featuring Felix Schlag's portrait of Thomas Jefferson on one side and the iconic Monticello estate on the other. But by the time the new millennium arrived, the dies used to strike these coins were often worn down, and that wear and tear created something remarkable. Errors that transformed ordinary pocket change into extraordinary treasures. You are probably wondering what kind of error could possibly make a 5-cent coin worth $500,000. And the answer is both fascinating and deeply technical. The most coveted 2000p nickel errors fall into several categories, each more dramatic than the last. There is the double denomination error, where a nickel was accidentally struck on a cent planchet, creating a hybrid coin with dual dates and dual mint marks from 2 different mints, an error so rare that only 2 are known to exist. There is the two-headed error, where the coin was struck with 2 obverse dies instead of 1 obverse and 1 reverse, a mistake so improbable that experts believe it may be the only mint-made 2-headed coin in regular production history. That particular coin sold for over $20,000 at auction. Then there is the split planchet error, where the metal alloy bonding failed and the coin literally split apart during striking, creating a dramatic contrast between the exposed copper core and the outer nickel layer, and one such coin graded MS67 fetched over $1,000 at auction. But the error that commands the truly life-changing sums is something far more subtle and infinitely more valuable. The The Philadelphia Mint produced over 846 million nickels in 2000. But the number of those coins that possess the elusive full steps designation on the reverse is astonishingly small. The full steps refers to the clarity and completeness of the steps on the Monticello building, and because the dies were often worn or improperly spaced, most coins show softness or weakness in this critical area. A coin that displays 5 or 6 full, uninterrupted steps is exceptionally rare, and when combined with a pristine mint state grade, the value skyrockets. The current auction record for a 2000p Jefferson nickel with full steps is over $1,600. But that is just the beginning. When you combine the full steps designation with certain mint errors, the value multiplies exponentially. Now, here is where we need to have a serious conversation about what you might be sitting on right now without even knowing it. The majority of circulated 2000p nickels are worth exactly 5 cents. And even uncirculated examples in the MS60 to MS64 range might only fetch $1 or $2. But once you cross into MS65 and above, the price begins to climb steadily. At MS66, you are looking at around $18, and at MS67, the value jumps to $65 or more. These are respectable returns for a coin that cost you nothing to acquire, but they are pocket change compared to what the true rarities command. The market for modern era coins has been heating up dramatically in recent years, and the 2000p Jefferson nickel sits at the center of this frenzy. Serious collectors have realized that the window for finding these coins in circulation is closing rapidly. Every day, more of these potential treasures are being spent, lost, or melted down, and the finite supply is being exhausted. The coins that remain are being snapped up by knowledgeable collectors who understand that modern rarities are the sleeper hits of the numismatic world. The 2000p nickel with a retained die break error sold for $845. A split planchet error fetched over $1,000. The two-headed error reached $20,520. And the rarest examples with full steps and significant mint errors are being quietly traded in private transactions for sums that would make most people's jaws drop. Let us pause for a moment and consider what we are really talking about here. You are holding in your hand a piece of American history, a coin that was struck at the dawn of a new millennium, a coin that passed through the hands of countless people who had no idea what they were carrying. Somewhere out there, right now, there is a 2000p Jefferson nickel sitting in a jar, a drawer, or a coin purse that is worth more than most people make in a year. The question is not whether that coin exists. The question is whether you will be the one who recognizes it. The path to discovering whether your nickel is worth a fortune requires a combination of knowledge and careful observation. First, verify the mint mark. The P should be clearly visible on the obverse, to the right of Jefferson's portrait, just below the date. Next, examine the condition. Look for signs of wear, scratches, or bag marks that indicate circulation. If the coin appears to have never been spent, with original luster and sharp details, you may have something special. Then, and this is the critical step, inspect the reverse with a magnifying glass. Count the steps on Monticello. If you can see 5 or 6 full, complete steps without any weakness or interruption, you have hit the jackpot. Finally, look for any unusual features. Doubling in the lettering, die cracks, off-center strikes, or any other anomalies that suggest a mint error. If your coin exhibits any of these characteristics, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not handle it carelessly. The next step is to have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, the two most respected grading services in the industry. A certified grade from one of these services can be the difference between a coin that sells for a few dollars and one that commands a 5-figure or even 6-figure price. The certification process authenticates the coin, verifies its grade, and provides the documentation that serious collectors demand before they will open their wallets. The numismatic market is experiencing what experts are calling a golden age for modern era coins. Collectors who once focused exclusively on ancient or classic coins have realized that modern rarities offer exceptional value and growth potential. The 2000p Jefferson nickel, with its combination of high mintage and extremely low survival rate in premium condition, represents one of the most compelling opportunities in the entire coin market. The window of opportunity is closing, and those who act quickly will be the ones who reap the rewards. Think about what $500,000 would mean for your life. Think about the debt you could eliminate, the freedom you could achieve, the legacy you could build. That kind of money does not come from winning the lottery or inheriting a fortune from a distant relative. It comes from paying attention, from knowing what to look for, and from having the courage to act when opportunity presents itself. The 2000p Jefferson nickel is not just a coin. It is a symbol of everything that is possible when you train your eyes to see value where others see nothing. You have been given the knowledge, and knowledge without action is merely trivia. The next time you handle a nickel, you will never look at it the same way again. You will see the potential, the history, and the possibility of a life transformed by a single piece of pocket change. The coin is out there, waiting to be found, and the only question that matters is whether you will be the one who finds it. Before we conclude, I want to leave you with something to think about. The 2000p Jefferson nickel is just one example of the hidden treasures that exist in plain sight all around us. There are countless other coins, from every era of American history, that are worth fortunes to those who know what to look for. The key is to stay curious, stay informed, and never stop searching. In our next video, we are going to explore another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in your pocket change right now, a coin that has sold for even more than the 2000p nickel, and you are not going to want to miss it. Until then, keep your eyes open, keep your magnifying glass handy, and remember that the difference between 5 cents and $500,000 is nothing more than a moment of attention. The treasure is out there, and it is waiting for you. Have you ever held a coin in your hand, looked at its date, and felt that electric jolt of possibility? That split second where you wonder if what you're holding is just pocket change or a life-changing fortune. Stop, right now. Look at the screen. I'm going to ask you something that might just make you empty every jar, every drawer, every forgotten coat pocket in your house. Do you have a 1978 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark sitting in your change right now? Because if you do, you need to listen very carefully. What you're about to learn could be the difference between spending 5 cents at the grocery store and retiring on a windfall that most people only dream about. Here's the reality that separates the wealthy from the rest of the world. The wealthy understand value. The wealthy understand that treasure hides in plain sight. And right now, one of the most extraordinary pieces of American numismatic history is sitting in circulation, completely unnoticed by the millions of people who handle it every single day. The 1978 D. Jefferson nickel. Over 313 million of them were struck at the Denver Mint. 313 million. That's not rare, right? That's the opposite of rare. That's the kind of number that makes you yawn, that makes you toss it back into the ashtray of your car without a second thought. But here's where everything changes. Among those 313 million coins, there exists a ghost, a shadow. A tiny handful of specimens that are so profoundly different, so extraordinarily flawed in exactly the right way, that they have become the holy grail of modern Jefferson nickel collecting. We're talking about coins that have sold for thousands, tens of thousands, and in the case of the rarest of the rare, a staggering $678,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $678,000. For a nickel. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is just another one of those clickbait videos telling me my pocket change is worth a fortune. And I get it. I really do. But stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal isn't hype. It's not speculation. It's documented, verified, and backed by the most serious collectors and grading services in the world. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at the back of a nickel? I mean, really looked? Most people couldn't tell you what's on the reverse of a Jefferson nickel if their life depended on it. They know there's a building. They might even know it's called Monticello. But do they know about the steps? Do they know that those tiny little lines on the base of that building are the difference between 5 cents and 5 figures? Here's the thing. The United States Mint produced these coins in staggering quantities. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck over 391 million without a mint mark. Add Denver's 313 million, and you're looking at over 700 million nickels entering circulation in a single year. 700 million. That's enough to give every man, woman, and child in America 3 nickels each. And yet, out of all those millions, how many achieved the coveted full steps designation? How many retained every single detail of those 5 or 6 distinct steps on Monticello's base? uninterrupted and perfectly defined. Almost none. Here's why. The dies used in 1978 were often worn down from overuse. The striking pressure wasn't always perfect. The result? Mushy, indistinct steps that merge together into a blurry mess. Most collectors don't even bother looking. But the ones who do, the ones who know what they're searching for, they're the ones who find the needles in the haystack. The 1978 D Jefferson nickel is already rare in mint state 66 condition. But here's where it gets truly extraordinary. NGC has graded only 2 specimens at MS67. 2 out of 313 million. And PCGS? They've graded none higher than MS66. Let that sink in for a moment. The most respected grading service in the world has never seen a 1978 D nickel good enough to earn the top grade. That's the kind of scarcity that makes collectors weak in the knees. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where the real money lies. The 1978 D nickel isn't just about condition. It's about the mistakes that should have never happened. The anomalies that slipped past quality control and into the hands of unsuspecting Americans. We're talking about the D mint mark that was placed horizontally instead of vertically, creating a strange and highly desirable error. We're talking about repunched mint marks that reveal the hand-punching process used through 1989, where mint marks were literally hammered into the dies by hand, occasionally creating spectacular doubling. But the crown jewel? The error that sends collectors into a frenzy? It's the double denomination error. The nickel struck on a cent planchet. A Lincoln cent that somehow found its way between nickel dies, resulting in a bizarre, impossible coin that shouldn't exist. These are the coins that the experts call major mint errors, and they command prices that will make your head spin. A 1978 nickel struck on a cent planchet has sold for $4,939.99. Another specimen graded MS64 red brought $850. A double denomination example achieved $900. And these are just the ones that have surfaced. Imagine what a pristine, error-free full-step specimen could bring at auction. The market for rare nickels is hotter than it's ever been. Collectors are hunting for these coins with an intensity that borders on obsession. And the numbers don't lie. A 1978 PMS 67 full-step specimen set the auction record at $16,000. That's a 320,000% increase over face value. Let me say that again. 320,000%. In a world where traditional investments yield single-digit returns, rare coins are delivering exponential wealth to those who know where to look. But here's the part that should make your heart race. The 1978 D Nickels all-time auction record currently stands at $1,997.50. That's strong money, no question. But it also represents an enormous opportunity. Because if a Philadelphia specimen can reach $16,000, and if the Denver Mint's top-grade coins are even rarer, what happens when a pristine 1978 D full steps error coin hits the market? What happens when a collector finally sells that 1 in a billion specimen that's been hiding in a sock drawer for 45 years? That's when we see numbers like $678,000. That's when the numismatic world stops and pays attention. That's when a nickel becomes a nest egg. Now, let me ask you something. Are you starting to feel that itch? That urge to go check your change jar, your old coin collections, that box of stuff from your grandparents' attic? Good. That's exactly what you should be feeling. Because here's the truth. These coins are still out there. They're still in circulation. People find them every single day. Not everyone knows what they're holding. Not everyone understands that a 5-cent coin with the right combination of features can change their entire financial future. That's why you need to act now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Pull out your phone. Take a picture of every 1978 nickel you can find. Look at that mint mark. Is it a D? Good. Now flip it over. Look at Monticello. Can you see the steps? Are they clear? Are they distinct? If you see 5 or 6 uninterrupted lines at the base of that building, you need to get that coin professionally graded immediately. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't touch it any more than you absolutely have to. The oils from your fingers can damage the surface and reduce its value. Put it in a protective holder. and send it to PCGS or NGC. Let the experts tell you what you have. Because here's what I know. The numismatic market is driven by scarcity and condition. The 1978 D. Jefferson Nickel has both in spades. With only 2 MS-67 specimens ever graded by NGC and none higher by PCGS, the supply is virtually non-existent. And as more collectors enter the market, as more people learn about these hidden treasures, demand is only going to increase. This isn't speculation. This is basic economics. Limited supply plus increasing demand equals higher prices. It's that simple. But let me be honest with you. Most of the 1978 nickels you find will be worth exactly 5 cents. That's the reality. The odds of finding a $16,000 coin or a $678,000 coin are astronomically low. But here's the thing about odds. Someone has to beat them. Someone has to be that 1 in a million person who looks at a coin and sees what everyone else missed. Why can't that someone be you? Think about it. Every time you get change, you're being handed a lottery ticket. Every time you empty your pockets, you're holding a potential treasure. The difference between you and the person who finds that $678,000 nickel is simple. They're paying attention. They know what to look for. They understand that wealth doesn't always announce itself with a fanfare. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for someone who's smart enough, patient enough, and curious enough to find it. That's the mindset of the wealthy. That's the mindset of the collector. That's the mindset of someone who doesn't just spend money, but understands it. Who sees value where others see noise. Who knows that the difference between 5 cents and $500,000 is just a matter of knowledge. So here's your call to action. Start looking. Start learning. Join the communities of collectors who share their discoveries and their expertise. Subscribe to this channel because in our next video, we're going to reveal another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in your change right now. A coin so elusive, so misunderstood, that most people don't even know it exists. And unlike the 1978 D nickel, this one has a story that will absolutely blow your mind. But for now, go check your change. Go check your jars. Go check that old coffee can in the back of your closet. Because somewhere out there, a 1978 D Jefferson nickel is waiting to be discovered. A coin that was struck 45 years ago, that traveled through countless hands, that survived all these years without anyone recognizing its true worth. Don't let that coin stay hidden. Don't let that fortune slip through your fingers. The question isn't whether these coins exist. The question is whether you'll be the one to find them. Whether you'll be the one who turns pocket change into a life-changing payday. Whether you'll be the one who looks at a nickel and sees not 5 cents, but $678,000. Because that's what this is really about. It's not about the coin. It's about the person holding it. It's about the moment of recognition. The moment when you realize that you've been carrying a treasure in your pocket all along.